Welcome to Calming Harp, the sounds of David's Psalms. I'm glad you've joined us for this brief moment we share together. I will be playing some of the music that has been brought out of the Psalms. My name is Steve Rees. I play the harp, and over the last several years I've been bringing the sounds of David's Psalms into recordings. You can find a lot of my music on my website, www.calmingharp.com. I have CDs available and MP3s. And you can go to YouTube. If you go to YouTube and then type in Paragranati, P-E-R-E-G-R-I-N-N-A-T-T-I, you will find hours of beautiful harp music that you can just play in the background and be calmed with the music that David may have played for his sheep at one time or another. So as we share this half hour, join me and enjoy the sounds of David's harp. Welcome. Thank you for coming back, and I hope I have some more delight for you with a bit more of the music I've produced with the harp from the Psalms of David. I wanted to start by telling you a little story, a significant story. It happened early on. I had just put up my website not long before this took place, and I got an email from and now she's a very good friend. We've gotten to know each other over time. I've actually made her a harp. And she's told me that I could tell her story. So Elaine contacted me and she said, I just want to share with you what your music has done for me. She went on to share that she and her husband and family raised horses. They did barrel racing and drove around to a lot of different shows and entered a lot of competitions. And at the end of one weekend when they were coming back home, they stopped to get some fuel for their rig, and they had a large trailer that had all the horses in it, and her husband was outside filling the fuel, and a semi-truck came smashing across the median, plowed into the station, her truck, the horse trailer, everything, and in an instant her husband had been killed. All of their prize horses were wiped out, and she was left with a son that was severely brain damaged. And she told me that for the next year she had not been able to sleep because her son would wander out into the street, and she was always worried that he would get in front of a car or something, and so she would only be able to sleep with one eye open very tentatively. And so for some amazing reasons, she said she found my website, and I had a lot of free demo music on there, probably over an hour's worth if you cycled it. And that's what she said she did. She said she cycled the music through and played it all night. And she said, as that music played, my son started to sleep. And because he was sleeping, I could sleep. And that was the story she told me. And that was kind of an amazing event for me because I didn't realize how positively my music would be in people's lives, and to actually hear somebody share what they had experienced as a result, just it continues to amaze me every time we get together. We were together with her over Thanksgiving, and she said, I still listen to your music." So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I'm not going to talk all the time, so let's get down to some music. Wanted to just play a little piece out of. I did a album called All Nature Sings, and I wanted to record some of the songs of nature. And I was just out in our yard one morning, and there's these birds just singing away, and I just got my little recorder out and recorded them for a while. And the truck would come along, and I would turn it off and then come back on. And I went and started playing some, and then started playing my harp. And what I did was I tried to find some of the psalm music that was speaking of birds or the animals or things to kind of back it up. So let me just play a little bit of this for you, and I hope you enjoy it. Blessings. So that's the sound of birds, along with the harp. Hope you enjoyed that. I wanted to share one more little story with you. It's a personal story. Back in 2010, I was severely sick with probably double pneumonia or something, I don't know. And at one point I was very serious, struggling to breathe, and I did not want to go into the hospital. I knew what they would do with me there. And so my wife put her hand on my back and began to pray. And she said, Lord, just heal my husband. And Father kept saying, pray my will. And she said, well, surely it's your will that my husband may be healed. And he said, pray my will. And he kept saying that. And finally she said, well, then what is your will? And for the next 3 hours or so, she asked the Father, what is your will? And about 3 o'clock in the morning, in the wee hours, the answer came back out of Psalm 118. He will live and not die, and proclaim the marvelous works of the Heavenly Father. And so I just wanted to share a little bit of my interpretation of Psalm 118 with you. Yahweh's for me, Yahweh's for me. What can man do to me? So there's Psalm 118. Hope you enjoyed that. Wanted to just comment on how my wife and I, Shirley, and I got started with this whole Harpin story. We, I think it was around 2001 or so, we were invited to do a story in the church. We had been reading a book on the early church history in the Celtic regions of Ireland, Scotland, in that area. And they had talked about these people that would go out to tell the gospel story. We would call them missionaries today, but their word for that was Paragranati. And in the Celtic regions, if you're going to tell a story, you have to have a harp to tell the story with. And so I said, well, I can play the harp. And my wife Shirley said, well, I'm a good storyteller, which she is. She's an incredible storyteller. So we decided we would put together one of her stories, and I would play the harp along with her story, and we would call ourselves the Paragranati. And that was how it all started. One of these episodes that I do with you all, I will try to bring out one of her stories and let you hear what she does. But the reality of it is that there is something that happens when you have the music of the harp coming together with the words of the scriptures. And when my wife takes those words of scriptures and puts them into story form, there's an amazing thing that takes place. A little 7-year-old boy will come up and say, that was like watching a movie. And then a 84-year-old grandma will be standing right beside him, and she'll say, I've heard that story, I've read that story so many times, and yet I never saw that in it. And so that was what got us started. And around 2006, we had a friend that heard one of our stories, and he said, I'm going to be on the road this summer. Would you guys think about coming along with me? And we said, well, we'll have to pray about that. And we did, and everything opened up. And so we went on the road for the first time in 2006. And we've been on the road ever since. So many of our years, we are away from our home about 10 months out of that year. So this year's looks like it may be going to be a little bit different. Traveling is a little bit more of a challenge right now, but we still do get out. We're going to be doing a worship conference over in Florida on the 15th of January, so called Rejoice with the Mishkanim. So if any of you are close to Lake City, Florida, come on by. Anyway, we'd love to have you. So to close out, I will do one more song, and I'll try to do a short little one of the Psalms of Ascent. And just close your eyes and enjoy the music, and we'll close out with that. So thank you for listening. That was a song that I titled Precious Oil, which is Psalm 133 from the Psalms of Ascent. That album I titled Psalms of Aliyah. So I did all 15 of the Psalms of Ascent on that album. So enjoy this, and we'll see you next week. So I hope you've enjoyed our time together. Stay tuned, as I say. Little pun. I have many more songs to share with you. I have more to share about how this all comes together. And I pray that you will share and help people, especially those you see stressed, especially in these times that we're going through. Bring people to this calming and this peace and this rest that this beautiful music of the Psalms of David brings to each of our lives. Thank you for listening. Hope to see you next week. Many, many blessings to you all today.